right, one more time for Bob and your host. Make it loud for him. Yeah. So nice to be here. Basement of this cheesecake factory. I always wondered what went on under those things. I guess this. A lot of people crammed into a tight spot. I love it. It's so packed in here, and there's so much bar room out there. I don't work in construction, but I feel like if you knock out this wall, we could all... I'm not in charge. I do love the TVs that just remind you where you are. I'm a big fan of that. That lets me know how much drinking goes on in Fort Worth. They're like, we need another TV. People are coming to, and they're terrified. All right. But I like it. We're down here. This feels safe from tornadoes and such. It's a good bunker. This is where you're supposed to be, based on the movies that I watched. Actually, on my flight out here, I watched the guy in front of me was watching the new Twister, and I was watching that. And did you guys watch the new Twister? Yeah. I would like the old one better. This one was like new and cheesy, and they were like, it felt like it was like funded by the government. Because they kept like mixing in like tornado facts that didn't fit the dialogue. We gotta get out of here now! No, not yet, because it's not cold enough for the air to drop and for it to start circulating. But they're both supposed to be tornado experts. Why would you yell? That's for us. That's for us in the theater going, I don't really know how it works. I loved it. Yeah, I like watching other people's movies because I like to watch the movie that I want people to watch me watching, but I like people ahead of me watching movies that I wished I had the courage to put on. Because I don't want to be. I put on Angels in the Outfield. All right, that's what I put on. I want people to know I haven't grown up and I like baseball. All right, so I'm watching Angels in the Outfield, but I'm really watching Twisters too. Oh, that Danny Glover. And then you start mixing them. Oh, my God, that kid lost his dad in a tornado? Wait, what? Oh! No, deadbeat dad. That's what's going on in this one. That one's Tornado. Pretty dark movie. Anyway. It's very nice to be here. I have been to... this is not my first time at this club. It's not my first time in Fort Worth. I was at this club in, 2009 or 10, a long, long time ago. A buddy of mine, he grew up in Cleburne, Texas. Which is just outside of here. Anyone from Cleburne? No? You know it? All right. A whole room of people, one person's like, I know it. Yeah. Well, my buddy Billy, who's a very funny comic, grew up out there, and we were new in comedy, so we were in San Diego, and he's like, you want to do a show in my hometown? And that is not a disrespectful impression if you knew who I was talking about. You'd be like, that might be Oscar-worthy, actually. he's like, we can go out there. I'm going to do a show. All my friends and family are going to come. And I was like, all right. And I'm like, how are we getting out there? He's like, man, we're going to drive. And we drove from San Diego out to here. And that's I think we're still making that drive. I don't think my soul has ever left that Honda Civic just puttering. Dude. There's part of that drive where they just gave up on the highway system. And I don't remember where, but it was somewhere between here and Albuquerque. There was just long stretches of road, but no, this blew me away. Maybe it's because I grew up in California where we need all the help we can get. But in California, we have call boxes every mile or so in case you break down and your phone doesn't work or something. You can help. And I've never used one, but I'm assuming there's someone on the other line. They'll send AAA or something. But we were just going for hours through this part of Texas or New Mexico. I don't remember where it was, but there was just nothing. I was like, there's no call boxes. What? And that we had no cell reception. But they did have picnic benches. Every once in a while set up, and I'm like, all right, so it's a possibility. but you don't want to set up a ring-a-ding. You're like, nah, those people just want a place to eat a sandwich. They're not gonna need to call anybody. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I flew in from San Diego this morning. It's nice. It's where I live. We just moved back. We used to live in New York, but I grew up in San Diego. Made it for San Diego person out there? Dude! You went to high school with me? Let me get a good look at you. What's your name? You look so familiar. Give me a name, buddy. Spencer! Dude, not only high school, like elementary school, too. Middle school, too. Yeah, you used to wear glasses. I used to wear glasses, too. Hell yeah, dude! Wow! I like it. You're looking sharp, dude. I like it. You traded in the glasses, now you got a badass cowboy hat and a beard. Making me feel a little inferior, but all right. Yeah, it's too much head. I can't. That sounded dirty the way I said it. And I didn't mean it. I meant that purely in cranium facts. Thank you so much for coming out, man. I have so many questions, but I have to save them for later, I guess. but yeah, we just went back, and we're very happy to be back in San Diego. We made it a year and a half in New York, and my wife hated it. And I loved it, but we both have a vote. But they're like electoral votes. She's Texas, I'm Delaware. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same amount of votes. And truth be told, she was right. Like she's like, why? She's like, it sucks out there in New York. And I'm like, I loved it because I was also on the road. I do this every weekend. So every weekend I leave to another town and I come back home. So I was like barely in New York. I'd show up on like a Monday and have a bagel. And I'm like, oh, New York's great, isn't it? And then my wife's like, not really. I'm like, what's that? See you later. And I'm off to another town. Then I'd come back. I'm like, let's go look at the Statue of Liberty or something, you know? And so she's like, we have to leave. And I love the press conferences. And then they have like the sign language interpreter next. Is that what you do? Oh, you might be able to answer this. All right. So like every time I watch these press conferences, the sign language interpreter during the press conference is very like, it's like, it seems a little much. Like it seems because I've been in public where I've seen people communicate in sign, like at a restaurant. It's very subtle. It's like a little baseball signal, you know. It's not. It's little, you know. It's very subtle, but they're over there like for the press conference. And I've watched so many of them, and it honestly kind of looks condescending to the person talking. It's like the mayor's like, we have help coming. He says there's help coming. Like it's like a little, doesn't it? It's like an eye roll of like, check out his boots, you know, like, because no one knows. That's the one sign language person. There's no one checking. So is there a reason you guys are more animated during the press conference? So I really wish I didn't ask. I feel so bad now. So you're telling me I've been punching down. That's why it's good to not know sometimes. Like, I like to do, like, jokes about stuff in the news, but there's always people in the comments, because I'll post the clip, and then they'll be like, well, actually, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I didn't read the whole article. Because I know if I'm going to read the whole article, I'll make it not fun for me. But if I read like the headline and the first couple lines, I'm like, I can make a joke out of that. But I don't want to know all. Now I know too much. They didn't hear you. That's. She said that, not me. She said that, not me. That was hilarious. Wow, I didn't know tonight was going to be educational. We all learned a little something there. That's kind of cool. Anyway. I like mushrooms, but I like them in small amounts. Like one time I didn't do a small amount. I did a full amount because my friend didn't tell me the proper amount. We were at my buddy's rehearsal wedding night, and afterwards we were all at the bar, and we were at this bar that had burgers, and my buddy was like, oh yeah, Dane says this place was on diners, drive-ins, and dives, get yourself a burger. So I ordered a burger, and before I came, he's like, oh, I got mushroom chocolates, and I was like, oh yeah, microdose? He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, all right, and I took my usual amount, and I remember I took it, and he looked at me, he's like, hell yeah. And I was like, what? But you know, like when your friends think you're cool, you don't want to immediately argue that, you know? So I just went with him, like, you know me. And I didn't know me, because I found me that night. It was in a bar that was kind of lit like this. There's a bunch of like neon-y lights, and then slowly like people's faces were coming up, and they had different colors on it, and I'm like, why are you so close, man? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm at the right amount of distance. And I'm like, your face is too big. And your cheeks are different colors. That's not healthy. I'm not a doctor. And then my burger came, and I ate my whole burger, and then afterwards I felt really bad. And Dane, who lives in that neighborhood, I was like, oh yeah, man, I had one of those burgers. He's like, you did? And I was like, yeah, I don't feel that good, but the other guy said it was cool. He said, you said it was on diners, drive-ins, and dives. And he's like, what? No, bar rescue. That's a different show. That's I don't know how much TV you guys watch, but that's very different ends. So now I have that information in with the people's faces that are already too big. And I just told my wife, I'm like, we got to get out of here. And so we went back to the Airbnb, and I stared at the curtains. And I had a really sour belly. My stomach hurt really bad, so I Uber Eats Pepto-Bismol. So I paid $45 for the smallest travel size. And I'm like, I can't go get it. I sent my wife to go out and get it, and she comes back, and like, that driver laughed at me the whole time. Because he thought I had the issue. So I'm just chugging Pepto, and yeah, it's not, I don't know. I like doing it sometimes, but it's not, microdosing is not something I can do all the time. That's no way to live for me. I got to be aware. I got to answer emails and be alive, and I can't just be all artsy all the, you know. There's stuff to do. Someone's got to drink this juice.
Hello, this is Zoltan Kaszas, and the year is 2025. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that mind-blowing? If you were just sent in from the past to the future, and this is how you're finding out the year, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. What the hell am I talking about? The point of this is I am on tour all year. It's what I do. A bunch of cities. I'm very excited to hit them all. If you'd like to see if I'm coming to a town near you, go to my website, zoltancomedy.com. There also might be a link in this video, maybe right over my eyes. I don't know what the editor is going to do with this. It could be in the description, what have you. But if it's not, zoltancomedy.com. Hit the shows tab, go down the list of shows, see if I'm coming to a town near you, and come see me so I can continue being a comedian and I don't have to go get a job where I'm a horrible employee. I've been told many times by numerous bosses. So please come out and see me and keep the dream alive.